In this tutorial video we're going to demonstrate how you can change the metallic level for each colour. So normally with all the colours in the ColorLogic system they are pre-built with a solid amount of metallic effect. So just to explain how that works, first of all we're going to work in Adobe InDesign, but we will show you how to do this in InDesign, Photoshop and also in Illustrator. So I'm just going to do something very basic. We're just going to create a tint of colour. So normally we do this by going to the swatch menu, we go to the flyout menu, we go to a new colour swatch, and then we load the colour that we want to use from our colour library. And as we always say before, if your colour palette's not listed, because ColorLogic is a very specialised palette, go to Other Library, direct it to your InDesign presets folder. So we go to Applications, and when this catches up, because my computer's got a lot of applications, we go to InDesign, Presets, and then down to Swatch Libraries, and this is explained in the user manual. So if it's not there, it means that you've not installed the ColorLogic system. So I've not installed it for CC 2017 because I'm doing tutorials and demonstrations, so I'm going to actually load that from a previous version that I have installed. So I'm going to actually use it from 2015. Oops, not resources, presets, Swatch Libraries. So you should see the ColorLogic file there. So I'm going to open that file into InDesign and that will then list all of the metallic colours and its dimensional and watermark effect equivalent. So let's just pick out a colour to demonstrate, and I'll do this with quite a bold colour. Let's do it with like a magenta colour. So 190 I believe is 100% magenta, so that's perfect for us. Okay, so I'll just add that colour to my document. So first of all, I'm going to make the stroke none and the fill 190. Okay, so that colour there, if we edit that colour and have a look at it, it has 100% of the ColorLogic silver. So I'm just going to duplicate this colour now, and make a copy of it. And this one I'm just going to do, move it slightly out of the way, so we've got two boxes. This one I'm going to duplicate this colour, and this time I'm going to edit it and I'm going to put it to say 50%. So we've now got 50% of the metallic effect, and that's different from if you were to basically just use this one here. Let's just go back to that original tint panel there. Now if you were to go in here and put 50%, it reduces 50% of the colour as well. So it's very important, if you want to reduce the metallic luster, you have to edit the colour, the silver colour, not the CMYK. So this one has 100%, this has 50%, and this one has 50% colour and 50% metallic. So now let's have a look at our separations. So separation preview. Let's turn on our separations and we'll turn off the CMYK. So you'll see 100% metallic, 50% of the metallic, 50% of the metallic. Okay. So there we go. So that's how it's done inside InDesign. So basically duplicate the colour and edit the colour and change the silver value. Now if we were to do the same thing inside Illustrator, let's make a new document. Okay, we'll do a similar thing. Let's make a rectangle. This time we're going to use our graphic style. So go Windows, Graphic Style, ColorLogic, and you'll see all of our colours. So if we pick a colour, it applies it. If you're only seeing grey, it means that you haven't got your overprint preview switched on. So switch on your overprint preview, because obviously these colours have overprint information inside them. Okay, so I'm now going to duplicate that panel like we did before. Let's pull one of them over here. And again, if we were to go to the colours here, this is where we have to change the appearance, because everything is an appearance with the graphic style. So the appearance tab here, we've got two fill layers. You've got the colour and then you've got the silver. So now down for my colour value here, and if you don't have that showing, you find all of these from your normal tool menus. They're just normal Illustrator and Adobe palettes. So I'm going to select my silver and I'm going to change the value down here down to 50%. So now we've got 50% behind the blue. The blue value is still the same. So if I was to move my palettes over here so you can see this, if I turn off my silver, you'll see the blue is exactly the same. If I turn off the CMYK, you'll see the silver is reduced down by 50%. Now if you're doing that the manual way, so for example if I was making a blend, a gradient, so let's just do a linear gradient here. Oops. Make it 90 degrees. When you're working with manual colours for like gradients, because a graphic style is a fixed command that says you have a certain value of CMYK and a certain fill of silver. You can't use graphic styles on gradients because it's a fixed sign, a fixed value. So you have to use our Cmyk palettes, which is swatch libraries, color logic, and this lists all the colors in its Cmyk. So now we can take colors and we can take, say, this one here, number 170, and we can blend that down into any other color we so choose. So we've picked the two colors. Then what you would do is you would normally duplicate that, so you have two copies, one which will sit directly over the top of the other, so it's now sat on top, and the top one you would then colour up with Color Logic Silver, and then from your overprint attributes you'd switch the overprint fill, so that would give you the metallic gradient. So I just move the silver out of the way so you can see that overprinting. Now let's just delete that silver so I can show you another way of doing it. I can copy that. I'll just move it out of the way here. In fact, let me just keep it out of the way so we can see what we're doing a bit more logically. This time I'm going to put silver where the purple was. I'm going to put silver where the orange was, but for this one down here where the orange value is, I'm going to change it down to 0. So now I've got solid silver going down to 0 silver, and then switch on your overprint. So now if we move that over the top of the design, we've now got metallic purple blended into process orange. But if I wanted to change that value, let's just move it over to the side again so we can see what's happening. Again, if I select this layer here, I could select this panel here and change that value down to 50%, in which case it reduces down. Or you could also do it through an opacity. So you can change your opacity down to 50% and it reduces the whole thing down 50%. So there's different ways of being able to control the silver, but you always have to select the silver layer and change either the opacity or the actual physical value. So in the next application we're going to move into Photoshop. Photoshop's a little bit more tricky, but actually very easy. You have to take into account the amount of colour in a design. So when we're working with these reduced amounts of metallic effects, they really work a lot better on a foil substrate. It's got a much higher chromatic kind of a very shiny level of metallic to it. With metallic inks, they're a bit more matte and a bit more diffused, therefore reducing the metallic effect reduces the amount of metallic pigment being printed. So really we would normally recommend this type of tips and tricks. Really works best with foil applications. So let's show you how we can do this with this car body. Now a car bodywork has two different levels of metallic effect. You've got what we call in the UK alloys, which is the rims, the wheels. This is a high chrome shine. And then you have the paintwork. Paint is normally that matte, diffused kind of metallic effect. So there are actually two different levels of effects. So if I printed this out onto foil, this bodywork of the car is going to go like a high chrome foil, which you don't want. It's going to look false. So we're going to actually run that through our image effects plugin. So I'm going to go to Windows, Extensions, and I've not got it installed, so let me go and install that now actually. And let's see, Mac 2017, let's get one of our installer files. Oh, where am I? I'm English International, I believe. Let me just, actually I can't install that way, can I? It's a different plugin for CC 2017. And let's see. Okay, I'm going to have to download it from our website because I don't have it on my computer. So anyway, it's a good little trick and tip to show you. So let me just load this in and we'll show you how quickly we can install it. Color Logic. Go into the vault, go into your installers, go into Mac, CC 2017. I need the plugin for image effects, so I'm going to click that. It's going to download to my computer. Oops, not that one. Let's take our image effects installer, put it onto my desktop. Okay, so this is the installer. It says drag me into Photoshop. Now if you have a window open, do not try dragging the installer into this window because it will think you're trying to copy and paste onto the image. You have to have no images open. Drag it onto Photoshop. Image Effects is installed. We can now quit from Photoshop, which you have to do for the plugin to then reloading properly. We can then go back into Photoshop and open it back up. And this is going to load our plugin, which will then be available to us from our extensions window. So now let's try do that again with the car image. So let's open the car image. Now Windows, Extensions, Color Logic. And you'll see the Image Effects plugin will load. You have one button, nice and easy. Click that, converts your image for you. So I'm now going to go to my channels. And this is a low resolution image for training purposes, so ignore all the low resolution looking image. What we normally do, we do a mask. So you mask around the areas that you want to keep. I'm now going to delete the unwanted area, so I'm going to get rid of everything by deleting it to white. So I've now got just the two areas of the car. What we would normally do here, once you deselect your image so you've got your channel back to normal, I'm going to go to my curves, which is Command M on a Mac. What we normally recommend doing is just playing around and increasing and decreasing the amount of metallic effect if you want to add more into your image. So sometimes you might want to pop a lot more colour into it. That's a lot more metallic effect. I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to do a straightforward conversion. I'm now going to make a mask around that wheel, and it's very, very simple. I'm just now going to select all the background, so I've inverted my selection. Go to my curves and drop that down to 50%. And you've reduced the amount of metallic effect by 50% in the background. So I've now got high chrome foil and more of a matte metallic in that area. So two different levels of effects created just by using your curves. So that's how you can change different levels of metallic effect, either through InDesign by editing the mixed ink color palettes, and that's by obviously duplicating the color and editing the silver, or as we showed you inside Illustrator by changing the opacity or the physical value of the color. Or in Photoshop, we're actually using different levels of the effects through our channels and by controlling it through our curves. So if anybody has any questions or concerns on this, please do contact us at support@color-logic.com.